Hello everyone, this is Vachaspathi, a second year IT student, a James Gosling member from CVR College of Engineering, and I'm here to explain the versions of Android. This is the part 4 and the last part. So in the last video I have explained up to Lollipop. I'll continue with the later versions here. So Marshmallow, it was released on October 5, 2015. So you can see the symbol. Let's go into the features. App drawer. This will probably be one of the most obvious changes to the UI you'll found. The new app drawer dumps horizontal scrolling, which has been around since Jelly Bean first came into the picture. The new app drawer scrolls vertically, which does seem to speed up navigation and gets you to your apps quicker. And if you really just don't feel like scrolling around at all, there is also a new app drawer search bar that will help you really get to specific apps in a jiffy. There is a slight change in the lock screen. Instead of having dialer and camera shortcuts in the bottom corners, Google has opted to replace the dialer app with access to voice commands. And Google has found a good way for the settings thing. It has organized the section. They have always trying to improve that section, you can say. You still have your two-step notification area process. Google Now on Tap. Google Now on Tap makes search a system-wide feature you can launch by simply long pressing the home button. Doing this will present you with information relevant or whatever it is to you are currently looking at. Unfortunately, Now on Tap turned out to be not as useful as Google originally promised, and in later versions was released by Google Assistant. Doze mode. What doze mode does is extend standby battery life by putting the phone in a deeper slumber during longer periods of inactivity. The only issue here is that doze mode requires a long periods of inactivity in order to be engaged, something that will help very few of us. In addition, applications can bypass this feature if set to priority, and since developers are the ones who determine whether their app is important enough or not, chances are very few apps will be turned off in this mode. Google didn't conform with putting the phone in a deeper sleep mode when the device is inactive. They went all the way down to the app level. One of the benefits of the Android OS is that it's such a great multitasker, but it can also be a bad thing if you have a bunch of applications installed. Google released Fingerprint API that gives developers the power to tap into our phone's biometric authentication, which means is that not only with your fingerprint readers be good for unlocking your device, any developer can use it to offer a secure connection with their users. Android Pay. This app was introduced along with Marshmallow and allows you to pretty much do the same as Google Wallet and other contactless payment services. You can add your cards and make NFC payments at supported stores. Granular app permissions for the win. Before downloading an app meant you have to succumb to accepting all app permissions developers requested. With Android 6.0 Marshmallow, you can now download any app and select which permissions you allow it to access. Having control over these settings is something plenty of power users have been requesting for a long time, and now we see it at full force with Android 6.0. To avoid any potential conflicts, Google has a built-in system that feeds fake data to the app so it keeps on chugging along as expected. That means you won't have to worry about older apps crashing when you disable permissions. Google introduced app links with Android 6.0. What this does is pretty much allow applications to take ownership of whatever links may belong to them. Of course, the box will still show up from time to time, but definitely not as often as before. Now when you highlight text, the system will now display a floating menu right next to the text three options included: select all, copy, or share. Simply edit your selection using the blue bubbles and tap on the accent of choice. And we have here system tuner, UI tuner. Tweaking the Android UI can be a bit complicated. We have plenty of options to choose from, but they are buried in their little sections within the settings app. This is why System UI Tuner provided to be a very helpful feature for those of us who like things a little different. I like the System UI Tuner allows me to change my battery percentage in the my status bar with a simple toggle. This is a RAM memory manager. This one is a bit of nifty feature for those of you who is like keeping an eye on how much resources certain apps use. Google has added a whole new section in the memory settings in which the system shows you how much RAM memory apps have been using it. USB has its pros and cons now, but its downsides are mostly due to how new the technology is. Truth is, USB Type-C is the future. It allows for all kinds of interactions such as charging, data transfer, accessory connections, and more, all at fast speeds and stronger connections thanks to USB 3.1. Oh yeah, it is reversible. No longer do you have to think about which side is up or down. So let's go into the next version, and it's Nougat. So Nougat was released on August 22, 2016. So you can see the symbol out there. So let's quickly go into the features. Multi-window support. In Android 7.0, we are introducing a new feature and much requested multitasking feature into the platform: multi-window support. Users can now pop open two apps on the screen at once. On phones and tablets running Android 7.0, users can run two apps side by side or one above the other in split screen. Users can resize the apps by dragging the divider between them. In Android 7.0, we have redesigned notifications to make them easier and faster to use. They've got updating notification sections templates to put a new emphasis on hero image and avatar. And you can customize more of the user interface labels associated with your notifications. You can configure the message, conversation title, and content view. In Android 7.0, they've added a just-in-time compiler with code profiling to ART, which lets it constantly improve the performance of the Android apps as they run. The JIT compiler complements ART's current ahead of time AOT compiler and helps improve runtime performance, save storage space, and speed up updates and system updates. One of the most tangible benefits of ART's JIT compiler is the speed of app installs and system updates. Even large apps that require several minutes to optimize and install in Android 6.0 can now install in just a matter of seconds. System updates are also faster since there are no more optimizing steps. DOS on the go. Android 6.0 introduced DOS, a system mode that saves battery by differing apps, CPU, and network activities when the device is idle, such as when it's still sitting on a table or in a drawer. Now in Android 7.0, DOS takes a step further and saves battery while on the go. Anytime the screen is off for a period of time and the device is unplugged, DOS applies a subset of the familiar CPU and network restrictions to apps. This means users can save battery even when carrying their devices in their pockets. A short time after the screen turns off, while the device is on battery, DOS restricts network access and defers jobs and syncs. During brief maintenance, Windows applications are allowed network access and any of their deferred jobs or syncs are executed. Project Wealth is an ongoing effort to minimize RAM used by the system and apps across the range of Android devices in the ecosystem. In Android 7.0, Project Welt is focused on optimizing the way apps run in the background. Background processing is an essential part of the most apps. When handled right, it can make your user experience amazing, immediate, fast, and context aware. When not handled right, background processing can needlessly consume RAM and affect system performance for other apps. Android 7.0 brings synchronous movement to the Surface View class, which provides better battery performance. Over the life of a mobile device, the cost of a cellular data plan typically exceeds the cost of the device itself. For many users, cellular data is an expensive resource that they want to conserve. Android 7.0 introduces Data Saver Mode, a new system service that helps reduce cellular data used by apps, whether roaming near the end of the billing cycle or on a small prepaid data bag. When user enables Data Saver in settings and the device is on a metered network, the system blocks background data usage and signals apps to use less data in the foreground wherever possible, such as by limiting bit rate for streaming, reducing image quality, deferring optimistic pre-caching, and so on. Users can whitelist specific apps to allow background metered data usage even when data saver is on. Android 7.0 integrates Vulkan, a new 3D rendering API into the platform. Like OpenGL ES, Vulkan is an open standard for 3D graphics rendering maintained by the Kronos group. Vulkan is designed from the group up to minimize CPU overhead in the driver and allow your application to control GPU operation more directly. Vulkan also enables better parallelization by allowing multiple threads to perform work such as command buffer construction at once. Quick settings is a popular and simple way to expose key settings and actions directly from the notification shade. In Android 7.0, they have added the scope of quick settings to make it even more useful and convenient. They have added more room for additional quick settings tiles which users can access across a paginated display area by swiping left or right. We have also given users control over that quick settings tiles appears and where they are displayed. Users can add or move tiles just by dragging and dropping them. Android 7.0 now supports blocking in the platform and provides a framework API to let service providers maintain a blocked number list. The default SMS app, the default phone app, and the carrier apps can read from and write to the blocked number list. This list is not accessible to the other apps. By making number blocking a standard feature of the platform, Android provides a consistent way for apps to support number blocking across a wide range of devices. Among the other benefits that apps can take advantages of are numbers blocked on calls are also blocked on text. Blocked numbers can persist across resets and devices through the backup and restore feature. Multiple apps can use the same blocked number list. Android 7.0 allows the default phone app to screen incoming calls. The phone app does this implementing, which allows the phone app to perform a number of actions based on incoming calls, such as reject the incoming call, do not allow the call to the call log, do not show the user a notification for the call. Android 7.0 now lets users select multiple locales in settings to better support bilingual use cases. Apps can use a new API to get the user's selected locales and then offer more sophisticated user experiences for multi-local users, such as showing search results in multiple languages and not offering to translate web pages in language the user already knows. Android 7.0 includes additional emojis and emoji related features including skin tone emojis and support for variation selectors. Starting with Chrome version 51 and on Android 7.0 and above, the Chrome APK on the device is used to provide and render Android system web views. This approach improves memory usage on the device itself and also reduces the bandwidth required to keep web view up to date. You can choose your web view provider by enabling developer options and selecting web view implementation. Sharing with Chrome 51 in Android 7.0, WebView will run web content in a separate sandboxed process when the developer option multi-process view is enabled. Starting with apps targeting Android 7.0, the JavaScript context will be reset when a new page is loaded. Android 7.0 adds the ability to record and playback content from Android TV input services via new recording APIs. Building on top of existing time-shifting APIs, TV input services can control what channel data can be recorded, how recorded sessions are saved, and manage user interactions with record content. On a device with work profile, users can toggle work mode. When work mode is off, the managed user is temporarily shut down, which disables work profile apps, background sync, and notification. This includes the profile owner application. Android 7.0 now offers vision settings directly on the welcome screen for new device setup. This makes it much easier for users to discover, configure accessibility features on their devices, including magnification gesture, font size, display size, and talkback. With these accessibility features getting more prominent placements, users are more likely to try an app with them enabled. Also, in Android 7.0, accessibility services can now help users with motor impairments to touch the screen. Direct boot improves device startup times and lets registered apps have limited functionality even after an unexpected reboot. Direct boot takes advantage of file-based encryption in Android 7.0 to enable fine-grained encryption policies for both system and app data. Android 7.0 introduces key attestation, a new security tool that helps you make sure that key pairs stored within a device hardware-backed key store properly protect the sensitive information that your app uses. By using this tool, you can gain additional confidence that your app interacts with keys that reside in secure hardware, even if the device running your app is rooted. If you use keys from the hardware-backed key store in your apps, you should use this tool, particularly if you use the key to verify sensitive information within the app. So let's go into the next version, which is Android O. You can see the symbol here. Let's learn about few features of Android O. Adaptive notification dots. If you cast your mind back to Google I/O 2017, you might remember Google demoning notification dots, which would be coming up in Android O. This time around, the dots appear in various colors drawn from an app icon they relate to. A lot of early adopters have noted several performance improvements and bug fixes in the final day preview. The battery drain issue that put a lot of folks off the third developer preview seem to have been corrected, and camera launch delay has also been fixed. In the toggles area at the top of the notification shade, the date is now in a slightly less condensed font, which makes it a little more legible at a glance, and the card-like spacer between the toggles and the notification has been removed. The mobile data toggle has also been changed back to its old look. System apps have received an updated icon that looks a little more material, although it is not implemented in every case, so you'll see the old Android head as well. In the camera app, double tapping zooms in 50%, and there's now a dedicated button for switching between the photo and video modes. So everyone, I end the video here, and thanks for watching this. Thanks for your support. I thank my seniors too for supporting me.